Welcome to the Friday Happy Hour with victory strategist, award-winning author, and your happy hour host, Annmarie Kelly. Each week, Annmarie chats with women who have reinvented, started over, or wrote fabulous next chapters. They share how they overcame their midlife challenges and how you can too. So kick back with some good happy hour something to drink and enjoy today's show.
You're listening to the Friday Happy Hour with me, Annmarie Kelly. I'm that recovering good girl and your victorious woman empowerment partner. And this is where us victory chicks and you men who care about us meet on Fridays to chat with things we do to achieve our goals, overcome our challenges, and get empowered so our lives can sparkle. Thanks for joining me at Happy Hour today. Well, Valentine's Day is over, but I'm still in the mood for love. Okay, I don't know if I mean exactly that. Well, yeah, I am, but rather I'm in the mood to make a love connection. And that's because I know so many of you are in a relationship transition. Maybe you're divorced or widowed, or you're thinking that your current relationship isn't going so well and you're scared to move on. So I asked Lisa Concepcion to join us at Happy Hour. She was one of those people who decided to move on in her relationship with her then spouse. I guess that's the best way that I could tell you. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in a couple minutes. But it led to a reinvention that's all about love connections. So Lisa will be with us in just a couple minutes. I got some positive feedback from last week's interview with Joseph about the 5-year marriage. Lorraine Ranelli did a good job asking questions, didn't she? I was glad. I have to tell you, it was odd to turn my show over to somebody else. But if I was going to go with somebody else, Lorraine was a good pick, and I appreciated it. We have a video. We did a video of the whole thing, and it'll be up on the 5-year marriage website shortly. And it includes what goes on during the commercials. So it's fun. And now that I'm getting close to the publication, I'm getting itchy to see the book in print. It's like the best way I can explain it is if you are pregnant and you're in like the end of your 7th month and you know you have 2 months to go, but you just want that baby to come out. Well, that's what it's like when you're publishing a book. So, but listen, if you want to know when it's coming out, go to the website 5-Year Marriage and get on the mailing list, and you'll be the first to know about the book, personal appearances, and more. And I posted a link to that website on today's radio wrap-up at victoriouswoman.com. As usual, this week was crazy busy for me. And I don't know how you celebrated Valentine's Day, but Joseph was working till 9. So I took myself to Panera, which has become my writing spot for 5-Year Marriage. Although today I was writing a little bit at Starbucks. Well, I was mostly editing at Starbucks here in town. Anyway, for Valentine's Day, I ate a salad by myself, and I did a little writing. And I did some people watching. And it was cute to see so many young families with having Valentine's dinner at Panera. Actually, the families all seemed to be the ones with little girls. And those little girls were so psyched for Valentine's Day. I don't know why. We victory chicks must get that love vibe very early. Or maybe it's that we're interested in having a change of pace, or a celebration, or the attention. Or maybe it's just the chocolate. I don't know. Anyway, some of the little girls had balloons, and they got their little Valentine's treats, some of them in the form of a Panera cookie. But the little girls at the table right next to me got a big surprise. Their mom told them that she had a treat for them at home. Now, I don't know what this treat was, because Mom was using her inside voice. But it must have been something really good, because one of the little girls seemed indignant and, not in her inside voice, demanded to know why her mother hadn't told her about the treat sooner, And Mom said, if I told you sooner, then you wouldn't have had something to look forward to. Or, she said something like that. But I started laughing and caught the eye of the dad, and we shared a little laugh. And you know what? It put a little smile on my heart. That was Tuesday, and then Wednesday I had press club, and the speaker was the new CEO of Swiss Farms. His name's Scott Simon. And if you're from Delaware County, if you grew up in and around Delaware County, then you probably knew the Swiss Farms as the drive-in market for, milk, and I always got sherbet there. To be honest, before the luncheon, I wasn't overly excited to hear him. But I went because I go every month. But to my happy surprise, I got to say, he was great. He came to press club with his marketing director and the new mascot, Cruiser the Rooster. And it used to be a chicken, that mascot. I don't know if you remember this, but Swiss Farms had a chicken. But apparently when they went out, when they started to do more outreach, and the kids saw the chicken, they thought it was Chick-fil-A, and then they wanted a free sandwich. So they had to do away with that, and they went to a rooster. Personally, I think that they kind of looked the same, but Cruiser the Rooster was very nice to me. Scott Simon is really excited about the future of Swiss Farms, and they're renovating the stores, including the flagship store in Sharon Hill, which is over 40 years old. I used to go to the one in Havertown, and that's going to be renovated this spring, so I probably will have to go down just to see. And they're spending more time on training sales associates so that customers have a better experience. And boy, I'm all for that. What the CEO said was something very interesting about the staff. He said that when somebody interviews for a job at Swiss Farms, it's with a panel who wants to see them do a song and dance. That is, he wants a prospective clerk or sales associate to show off his or her interpersonal skills. Simon said he doesn't worry so much about the technical stuff because he can teach how to run a register and stock the shelves and things, but if they don't have the people skills, the customer won't have a good experience, and they won't come back. And don't you find that to be true? When I helped Joseph hire a new massage therapist, that's what we look for. When Joseph first started bringing in therapists, he was totally focused on what he calls the touch. And his feeling was if they had the touch, which in his mind that was the skill, then they would be successful. Because that was his experience. I think what he didn't realize, I think he just didn't give himself enough credit for his people skills and customer service. He presumed the massage skills were the thing that mattered and didn't realize that he could teach those. If somebody came in with basic skills, he could help them ratchet those skills up. But after he had to fire a few therapists, and not for bad massage skills, but because they didn't show up on time, or they weren't nice to the clients, or they showed up looking unprofessional. They didn't do the things that made his clients feel like he feels, that they are the most important people and that they weren't going to just any old massage company, but to the one that gave them the top-notch service and to a company that valued their business. He can't keep people that didn't do that for his customers. So then he started to realize that it wasn't as much about the touch, the massage skill, but the people skills. So, because not everybody can do that, making the customer feel good. Some people, and you've met them in the stores or on the phone, they're there to collect a paycheck, and you're an interruption to whatever else they're there to do. They're not even there to do. They could be on their social media, or they could be chatting with another associate, and you interrupted them. Well, more and more, and I wonder if it's because so many people are glued to their social media and don't know how to interact with others appropriately, I think more and more interpersonal skills will be what sets job applicants apart. And when they get the job, what will get them the promotions. It's going to be a rude awakening for some when they realize that in the real world, everyone doesn't get a trophy just for showing up. You have to show up and deliver, and we're old enough to know that. Oh, and I almost forgot one thing about Swiss Farms here in Chester County. Then this might be breaking news. If you're wondering when that one on Paoli Pike and Boot Road is going to reopen, sad news. It isn't. Scott Simon said that someday it might reopen as something else if they can sell it to somebody else or as a mini Swiss Farms. or something, but it won't be opening up again as it was. So that was the dirt I got at Press Club on Wednesday. And I left right from the Press Club to the Girlfriend Gala committee meeting. And don't forget, Girlfriend Gala is on May 24th at Penn Oaks Golf Club. I just posted a registration on Facebook this week, and some of the girlfriends have already gotten tickets. And listen, it sold out last year with over 100 girlfriends, so I don't think it's too early to get a ticket. If you're interested, I posted a link to the pictures, and there's a link to the registration this year, the pictures from last year, and a link to this year's registration page. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, I posted a link to the sponsor levels too. But for sponsors, make sure you call me so I know how to give you the best sponsorship experience. And you know what? This was tax week. I had such a day on Wednesday because I went from Press Club to Girlfriend Gala to my accountant, J. Richard Volpe, in media. And if you're looking for an accountant, J. Richard Volpe is the one. But instead of doing productive work this week, I spent the rest of the week immersed in QuickBooks and paperwork. And Joseph and I are pretty good about keeping our files, but it still takes a long time to separate everything and fill out the paperwork. Let our accountant do the taxes. So, say, listen, Lisa Concepcion is here. She's the love coach who encourages people to vibe high. Lisa's Love Quest coaching programs teach the principles of the law of attraction that help others attract, give, and keep love, starting with the love of yourself. So, let's go to a break. Go get some happy hour, something to drink. And when we come back, I'll be here with Lisa Concepcion, the love coach. You're listening to the Friday Happy Hour.
Remember when you wished you had more time for yourself? And now you have it, but you notice you're keeping busy with stuff, but that stuff isn't making you feel happy or filled up? And when you think about what would make you happy and filled up, you get stuck or feel overwhelmed. And then you go back to what's more familiar, more comfortable, even if it's not making you happy. Wouldn't you love to find a way to start making sense of that deep discontent you're feeling? Well, you're not alone. I'm Annmarie Kelly, author, victory strategist, and the radio show host of the Friday Happy Hour. And I know there's a place for you, one that other women have found to be both inspirational and empowering. And it's the Victorious Woman Project. Go there now and get on my mailing list, where you'll be the first to know about my upcoming online workshops, teleseminars, and more. And while you're there, take a couple minutes to look over my blog. You can download some of the free stuff I have for you and let it get your creative juices going. I'm looking forward to meeting you at the Victorious Woman Project. And that's at www.victoriouswoman.com.
Welcome back to the Friday Happy Hour. I'm Annmarie Kelly, and I'm hosting this happy hour, and I'm here with Lisa Concepcion, also known as the Love Coach. Hey, Lisa, how are you today?
I'm excellent today. I love the happy hour.
Thank you.
It's the best.
Okay, Lisa, let's share a little bit of your background. I'm going to do the Cliff Notes version, and then you can fill in. So you lived in you lived in New Jersey. You married your college sweetheart when you were 27, had a career in public relations. You worked in Manhattan, and you seemed to have a great relationship with your spouse. And it's kind of like like you were living the dream until something went wrong, and then he told you he was moving to California. So how was that for the capsule version?
That's like really teeny tiny version. But yes, I mean, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, look, the thing is, I met the college boyfriend, obviously, in college. I was 21 years old, and I'm sure there are many, many people out there in midlife that they, met somebody very young and embarked on this journey, this beautiful journey, this marriage, children, the whole deal. I didn't have children, but others I'm sure out there have. And then they wake up one day in their, mid to late 30s, and they look around them and think I participated in every single thing in this life, and now I don't want this life anymore, or I want a variation of this life.
And how long had you been married by that time?
So by that time we were married 12 years. So we were already, together a while. We were together a total, I believe, of 17. And then at that point, and then, it was a bunch of different things that I think just added up. I think there were things that had to do with a lack of self-love on both of our parts. I think we were very conditional. We were looking for love and approval and validation and happiness in the other as opposed to within ourselves first. And, it was a great time. I mean, we had an amazing friendship. We still do. I consider him family. He does the same for me. But I think there was just an immaturity there. There were just certain things, and the reasons for why we got married were not from a place of power. They were from a place of leaving something less fulfilling to create something that we thought would be more fulfilling. So whenever you're leaving something instead of being called to something else, you're going to run into some problems.
Well, so how did it, so he told you that he wanted to go to California. So how did that come back? Did he have another job, or what made him say I wanted to go to California?
Well, what happened was it was again, external factors. There was this was 2010, so it was after the Lehman collapse and all the things that happened with real estate, and my husband at the time was a mortgage broker. So he was doing really, really, really well financially, and then the rug was literally pulled out from under him.
Oh,
so
right.
it hurts you when you're cruising along and you're making this money and you're having vacations and you're living this fun life, and then all of a sudden it's nothing. And I'm now earning for both of us, and we have this home, and everything was fine financially with one salary. It was okay, but I think there was just this lost feeling that came over him, and then it led to a panicked feeling in me, and we just did not have the mindset and the tools to fix it, to really hold ourselves accountable to what would come next in our lives. I think we were just looking for the other person to make it better, and that you're supposed to just really be conscious of how you're feeling and be responsible for your own happiness. And he wasn't happy, and I wasn't happy either. And you just start looking at each other like, I'm not happy, and it's because of you, and I'm not happy because it's of you. No, it's because of us as individuals. And once, you get that wrapped around your mind, then your whole life starts to change.
And so he left, and he went to California, and then what did you do?
Right, so we sell our house. So basically he tells me after this house is sold, I'm going to move to California. And
so he didn't tell you. So wait. So he didn't tell you you wanted to go to California, and then you sold the house. You sold the house, and then he left for California.
Correct. So he announces that, he couldn't even put the words together, we're going to separate. I had to figure it out. So he says to me, when we sell this home.
So wait a minute. Well, you sold the house, and then not with the intention of separating?
Exactly. We didn't know what we were going to do. That entire summer of 2010 was so up in the air. He was traveling. He went to see his sister in Colorado. He went to California himself. He needed time on his own. So now I'm in New Jersey showing the house with the real estate people. We had a foster dog. We had our dog. It was just a lot of chaos and a lot of stuff going on. And he just kind of up and left for, weeks at a time, where he would just be exploring. And I now, looking back, understand exactly what that was. But while I was in it, I felt very alone. I felt very who is this person just leaving me like this with the burden of showing this house? And what are we doing? What is going on? And I thought we would move together. We didn't really solidify what would happen with our marriage. It was very up in the air. And finally, when it got down to the wire where we had a buyer for the house, and it was, coming down to negotiating the contract and all that with the mortgage, that's when he announced to me that, after we sell our home, we'll split the money 50-50, and he is going to move to San Diego. And I said, well, okay, I get, does that mean that we're separating? Like, are you going with the intention of, like, finding a job and then sending for me and the dog and we'll meet you? And he was like, no, I'm going to go alone. So now in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, in 30 days, I'm going to be homeless with a bunch of furniture and a dog. And where am I going to go? What am I going to do? So, because at the time, I wasn't even working steadily either. I was just, freelancing, doing what I could.
And wait, Lisa, what did your family think about all of this?
My family were, like, so concerned, but of course, they know my ex-husband since we were 20, 21 years old. So here we are, 38, 39, 40 in that range. And so they look at us like we're their children. Like, my parents completely, like, adored my ex-husband, like, still do. Like, they care for him, it's just, of course, their loyalty is to me. And then once we got divorced, of course, it's like, okay, well, that relationship changes. But at the time, they were feeling like our kids are in trouble. It was that kind of feeling. And it was very hard. It was a very, very hard thing because it was very unexpected because my family just saw what we were like together and we were such good friends. Like, we were very tight and as a couple. And our friends were even shocked. It was just like, what? Like, if your marriage is not on point, then we have no hope because you guys are buddies. Like, this is ridiculous.
Right. You would be like the role model.
Yeah, we were like the house that everybody would come and hang out at, and our families, we were together the longest. Our families had a lot of divorce in it, but like Alex and Lisa were always together and happy and joking around, and it was just really sad to see, I guess, for them because it was a really close bond. It still is. It's very interesting how the whole thing, even is currently.
But Lisa, I want to ask you, like, did you have any inkling, like you knew things weren't going, he wasn't happy and you weren't happy and you were selling the house, and like did you have any conversation when you put the house on the market, like what you were going to do next, or
We did, and there were things that happened in the marriage leading up that certainly made this like not. It wasn't that it was a shock. Going that level of separating was a shock. I didn't think that was where it would go. I thought that we would figure it out. We always figured it out before, and we had gotten over worse, and I think it was just a matter of a momentum that started that when you start looking not at the positive aspects of the person that you're with and you start to bang the drum of nitpicking of what's wrong, that's the danger zone. That's when a momentum happens and thoughts start to stick to one another until all of a sudden you have this big avalanche of grievance and resentment, and then that's all you have to go on, and it's just too big. It's just too big of a momentum. So I guess to put a halt in the momentum, his decision was go to San Diego and move there. So I'm sitting there like, well, where am I going to go?
I'm furniture
not gonna,
and no house.
I'm like, what do I have? So, I mean, and let me tell you, big lesson, when you are going through something like this and you are selling your home, sell the furniture with the home. Start 100% completely fresh. Because objects have energy, and here I am years later, and I still have parts of the furniture. Granted, I love my furniture, but I had to paint certain things. I had to, like, really make a conscious effort to recreate my personal surroundings.
Lisa, let me tell you something, Lisa. I'm on board with you with this because I have friends who go to antique shops and they buy. Like I have one friend who, like, her whole bedroom is all antique stuff, and I would not do that because I don't know what went on in that bed. I don't know when it went on in that furniture. Like who had it like 50 years ago or 100 years ago, and what kind of energy was with that? You and I are probably not in the majority, but.
Right.
But I'm right there with you. I think things have energy.
Energy is energy. Absolutely. Energy is energy. It's absorbed, and there's and I choose to always say, like, our perception of the energy, happy or not, is what it is. But I completely agree with that. I mean,
well, and
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
My dining room table and like some of my dining room furniture was I bought from the lady next door, and when she died, but I loved her, and so I think of her when I see
great memories.
Yeah, every time I see I can remember a whole bunch of scenarios. We lived in a row house, we shared the stoop, and when I would go to her house and I would see that table, and she was such a lovely person, so to buy secondhand that way was good because it was a great energy, and it's always every time I think about her, it puts a little smile on my face.
Yeah, and in the case of if you're divorcing and you're like selling houses and things, it's just for your own mindset and your own just health and betterment to, even if you have to get a furnished apartment at least to begin with or whatever, or start completely from scratch with IKEA. I mean, whatever you got to do. Yeah. But there's something to be said about starting with a fresh, clean slate and filling your physical space with furniture and things that are of your own choosing as an individual. It's a very healing thing, and it was.
You can't always do that, but I like what you did.
Exactly, and in my case, I didn't. I did it gradually, and I'm still doing it. And the reason for that is because when I finally...
You changed the energy because you painted something. I did
change the energy because I changed the location of where I lived, but I did move, 3-bedroom house in New Jersey worth of furniture somehow in a 1-bedroom beach apartment in Miami. And I will tell you that up by us, you in Pennsylvania, me in New Jersey, the furniture, the styling of furniture, the suburbia of the furniture, it's completely different from living in a beach condo 5 blocks from Miami Beach. It's a very different aesthetic. So here I am moving in, Crate and Barrel Pottery Barn into a light, airy Miami Beach apartment, So some of it works, some of it doesn't. I made it cute. I love where I live. I have the terrace door open all the time. It smells like the beach. It's wonderful. But, when I moved here, it was rough. It was rough.
So
I remember
how did you decide to move to Miami?
So I wanted to live someplace
from Bergen County, New Jersey.
From Bergen County, New Jersey. So I've been to Miami a few times, South Beach, as a tourist. You escape from New York, to go there for the warm. And I've done that a few times, and I always said, wow, my South Beach reminds me of like Hoboken with palm trees and a beach. Like it's the same deal. You can walk everywhere. There's like part residential, part, lively and bars and atmosphere and good restaurants, decent shopping, and there was just such a, sexiness and a glamour to it. And I love the palm trees. I love the beach. And I just figured, go there, like go live in an urban beach town. And it's tropical, and I felt I needed to be someplace warm, and I wanted to feel good. And wherever I feel good is usually when I'm on like a tropical vacation. So I picked Miami. I packed my truck of stuff. My dad drove and followed me down I-95 all the way from Jersey to South Beach, Miami. I moved in October 2010. And I remember, flew my dad home, thanked him for moving me, etc. And I was on my own, completely, 100%, no family, nothing, on my own.
So Lisa, we need to take it.
Cool.
Yeah, we need to take a break. But when we come back, we'll pick up with what happened when you got to Miami and how you rebuilt your life. So everybody stay close. You're listening to the Friday Happy Hour.
Are you one of those women who lived the first part of your life as a really good girl? That is, you did all the right things and followed all the so-called rules for women? I was like that too. But have you noticed that once you passed 40, you have less patience for those rules? Maybe you even think that the rules really don't make sense for you anymore. Maybe they never did and you just didn't realize it. Do you want to go where other recovering good girls meet to inspire each other and support their new empowered selves? Then join me, Annmarie Kelly, and some very fabulous victorious women. We're on Facebook at the Victorious Woman Project. So go to facebook.com/Victorious Woman Project. I'll talk to you there.
Welcome back to the Friday Happy Hour. I'm Annmarie Kelly, and I'm here with Lisa Concepcion, the love coach, and we're finding out what happened to Lisa when she got to Miami. So how did you put your life back together and reinvent as the love coach?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I get to Miami, and let me tell you, it was as if I was shot out of a cannon. I mean, I went literally in 48 hours from, married in the suburbs in New Jersey to South Beach. I mean, like, you look up Google top party towns in America, and South Beach, Miami, and Las Vegas are like neck and neck.
Lisa, but let me ask you this: Did you make settlement and then like immediately go to Miami?
No, I literally found my apartment on a Google search. I went and measured my furniture, and I took the floor plan online and said, okay, my furniture will fit in this apartment, so I'm going to send a down payment. I never saw my apartment. It was sight unseen. I just agreed to live somewhere for like 7 months, and if I liked it, I'd re-up the lease. And I just kind of went for it. I just like, I want to live where I feel good.
How soon after settlement was that?
So, settlement of what? Of moving out of my house?
Right.
Oh, I sold my house, I think, it was 2 weeks. Like, we sold our house and we had to vacate. Like, it was fast. Like, we sold our house, and I think we had like 3 weeks to pack and leave. And because the people were moving in October 1st. So here it was September 27th, 28th, 29th. I was already in Miami. So it was pretty fast. I think they closed on the house like the middle of September. I mean, I recall it being really, really quick.
So Lisa, so there you are. You're in Miami, which has
in Miami.
Culture shock from Bergen County, New Jersey.
I'm in Miami. It's totally different, but I love it. And I was in escape mode. I was vacillating from crying in my apartment alone to partying like a rock star. And any high and low like that is escape. It's escape. I'm in the deepest pit of the awful, and then look how sunny and beautiful, and I'm going on a yacht with 60 people, and we're going to all party. This is amazing. And you see so it was very glamorous to pit of awful. Glamorous pit of awful. Luckily, by the grace of God, I had people in New York that I worked with, different people from the PR world who needed help in Miami. So they were like, we need like a senior level marketing person to do this, that, the other. So I had a few steady things happening down here professionally.
So you had some money coming in.
I had money coming in, and it also, more importantly, made me I had to be up and someplace at 9 a.m.
But, that's really important. Like when you
so important.
When you have like that kind of a change. Like it was something I noticed, especially when my mother died, that I had been her caregiver, and then suddenly I was out of a job, and I hear that same thing when people get a divorce or when their spouse dies, that they're just suddenly like it's done.
Yeah. It's a lot of, upheaval. You're completely different. Your life is completely different from what you knew. And I went into this, leisure, and let me tell you, Miami is a vacation spot first and a place to live secondly. I mean, especially when you're coming from a place like New York and you don't know what is 85 degrees in November. Like, you don't know this world. So while everybody else is no big deal, whatever, we have hot weather all the time. So, like, let's just go to work. I'm thinking, I never had hot weather like this in winter. I want to be at the beach all the time. I want to just chill. I want to, like, relax. But luckily, I didn't have that. I mean, luckily, I had a job. I had 2 jobs back to back. So the whole, I'd say, like, the first 6 months of my time in Miami, I was working. It was a very, typical 9 to 6, 9 to 5 type of deal, and it was good for me, that regard of it. But
so what were your greatest challenges?
Wow. Okay. So greatest challenges, definitely being in a kind of like a very split energy, kind of married, kind of not. What am I? Who am I?
That's right, because you weren't divorced.
No, I was not divorced, and we did not, and we'll get to that in a minute, but we didn't divorce for 4.5 years. We were separated for 4.5 years. We tried living together because what happens is I'm in Miami now. It's 6 months. And the husband decides, I'm going to come to Miami. I miss my wife. I want to be with my wife. So now it's my wife, my wife, my wife. Meanwhile, in those 6 months that we were apart, you're apart. You're sowing oats. You're seeing other women. I'm seeing guys. I'm dating. I'm this and that. But we're both coming at it from a very split energy. And
when you say that,
never going to stick.
For my listeners, what does that mean, split energy?
Well, it means that I am sort of married, sort of not. And therefore my energy is split for the next person that I might meet and for the people that I attract. So if I'm going to attract a man from a position of I'm sort of married, guess what I'm going to attract? Like attracts like. That's the law. Mm-hmm. So I am probably going to attract a guy who's cheating on his wife, cheating on his girlfriend, kind of sort of married, complicated. So because I was complicated. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like I was going to meet this, wonderful man with his stuff together that could just rescue me from the plight of my life. No, it was like attracts like. That's not what you're going to attract. You have to sort out your own life and be living in a place of power so that you could attract from there. And so I didn't know that then. So I was out. Escape was the name of the game. I was finding other people who were escaping their things, people who had lifestyles up north, but then work took them to South America, and they'd have this cushy little bachelor pad in Miami. And meanwhile, they had a whole other life with children and wife up north. I mean, you name it, you get it here in Miami. So here I am coming from
Lisa,
suburban mind, and it's a different thing.
Lisa, let me stop you for a second. Do you think that escape thing is normal in when somebody ends a relationship? How in your experience as the love coach, how often do you see that happen?
All the time. I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to see some form of escape. Now, it could be different for everybody. For example, people escape into their work. They become workaholic. They don't want to go home because home is empty and home reminds them of their spouse. So they become workaholic, and so they only go home to sleep. So they're working until 10 o'clock at night. Right. So they're so exhausted that all they do is go home and go straight to sleep. Or other people might even escape into promiscuity. They might, go on these websites and the Tinder and whatever, and they start to, be fulfilling themselves that way or escaping that way because there is no fulfillment in that. But another could be drugs and alcohol. Another could be where their careers take a decline because now they want to have a life of leisure with no worries and no responsibility, and they just want to take 2 months to just travel and bounce around the country. There's something that happens, and it is normal, and it does happen with people that I've coached and people that I've seen. It happened within myself. It happened with my ex-husband. It's very, very common. Very common. I know this woman who, when she got divorced, she thought the idea was to spite the ex-husband, and she became shopaholic and racked up like $25,000 in shopping expenses. She just couldn't stop shopping, like the drug of the validation of new and buying new things, but also with a hint of resentment because he was leaving her for a younger woman and he had money, so she wanted to make sure she got
run up
hers.
the credit cards.
Yeah, run up the credit cards. Like, I have 6 months before this thing's going to hit, so let me just buy a bunch of stuff for myself and make myself feel good. So
there's all different kinds of forms of escapism.
Yeah, exactly. Not healthy. I mean, not good, but normal. I mean, you can't beat yourself up for your innate desire to soothe yourself, but eventually the light bulb goes off, because really what that is just a disconnect between what your deeper inner being knows to be true about the same subject. So when you're doing self-sabotaging things or you're emotionally out of whack, it's nothing more than a disconnect between the you that you're living in the world and the inner being you, the wise you, the knowledgeable you, the source you, and what that you knows to be true.
Lisa,
So
you know what? We have to take a break. But when we come back, that's what I want to be talking about. I want to see how you got busy healing and rediscovering yourself, but mostly I want you to be able to give some tips to my listeners on exactly that you're talking about. So everybody hang in there, and we're just going to take a short break. You're listening to the Friday Happy Hour.
Hi, this is Annmarie Kelly, author, victory strategist, and the radio show host of the Friday Happy Hour. I trust you're enjoying my conversation with this fabulous, victorious woman. If you're getting inspired with ideas and feeling empowered, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more for you. Tips, downloads, resources at the Victorious Woman Project. Go to victoriouswoman.com and look around and get on my mailing list so you can be the first to know about the newest good things I have for you. That's www.victoriouswoman.com.
Welcome back to the Friday Happy Hour. You're here with me, Annmarie Kelly, and Lisa Concepcion, the love coach. So, Lisa, you got busy healing and rediscovering yourself, and I know too many people jump right into a new relationship without doing that. And, you eventually you and your spouse did get divorced. But what I want to ask you is, what are some good tips if you need to do that healing after you end your relationship? What are some good tips you have for facilitating that healing?
So for one thing, I encourage not jumping into any kind of relationship until the relationship between you and you is completely powerful and healed and feeling awesome, and I mean really awesome. It's one thing to pretty yourself up and go out and say, oh, I feel great. Look at me. I'm so happy. I'm having a great time.
I got a haircut. I did. I lost 20 pounds.
No. That's external. I'm saying where you're attracting amazing people, you're having great things going on in your career, you're feeling great health, your health is on point, you're just good.
Well, so how do I do that? How do I get to that place?
Well, for one thing, you focus on the life that you want. You don't focus any longer on the life that you've left and the life that is in front of you. You focus on the life that you want. And a lot of it for me was journaling about this life that I wanted to create. It was looking at the positive aspects of my ex-husband and really looking at the journey and what I learned and saying, if I had 10 things to be grateful about today, what would those things be? And really being mindful about the blessings that I have. The simple things. The sun rises and sets and I have nothing to do with that. I'm not responsible for that, and these beautiful things happen regardless. I have air in my lungs. I'm not responsible for that either. This is how my body works. I sleep. Things are still working while I sleep. The heart's beating. So you start to become so appreciative of the simplest things, and you start from there to cultivate new friendships, new opportunities, just a really beautiful life for yourself, a new life for yourself. It's not easy. It's not easy to train your mind to start looking at what's wanted as opposed to what is.
Did you ever do a vision book or a vision board?
So I have, to this day, a gargantuan vision wall in my apartment that I started in... I moved into this apartment in 2011. So if you imagine wallpaper when you move into a house, and if you peel away, there's another layer. I probably have like 4 layers of vision wall stuff on this wall. It's a wall that goes from my master bedroom into the master bathroom. So it's like a kind of like a closet, like a walk area with a plain wall. And no window, no nothing. So I'm like, wow. So one day I just put a picture up there, and then another and another. And I said, I want to put things on there, visuals, that when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I can see it and just stand in front of it. It has quotes, it has expressions, it has pictures, vacations, things. And what I love looking at now, it's all the things that have manifested. I look at it and I'm like, wow, look, oysters. I eat oysters all the time. Look, a boat ride. I went on a boat ride 2 weeks ago. Look at that. And I'm looking around my wall, the very wall, the things that I just would pick. And it makes you feel so powerful, like a master manifester in your life, when you can look at your vision wall and see the things that you put up there coming to pass in your life. It's amazing. And then you just want to do more and more and more.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think I always, in my classes, I teach vision boards and vision books, and I think that they're really powerful. So you start looking through gratitude, and you start leaving that other life behind, even though it's difficult to do that. The vision board helps the journal. I like the journaling idea. And then as a love coach, then you help people repackage themselves, and you take all of your marketing experience and this new all of the self-love and rediscovery that you did, and you created the Love Quest marketing, and you talk about repackaging yourself, and I think it's an interesting way of saying it. So what does that mean?
So you have this whole life that you once knew, and then you go through this crisis or this testing time in your life, which does nothing but provide amazing contrast, right? So you start to figure out who you are, who this new person is, and it's still you. It's just a new version of you. So you have to repackage that. And now it comes an opportunity for you to create this new life and this new person that belongs to this new life. And so that with that becomes this new story of who are you now, and these things happen to me, but this is who I am now, and that is what then you are going to put forward when you're trying to attract someone new in your life.
So do you mean like the outside? How do you mean
all
that?
Of it. I think it's all of it. It's all of it. I mean, with my coaching, and the Love Quest marketing thing is funny. It came to be because my background was in marketing, so I hung my hat on my credibility and knowledge of marketing. If I could market a product, I could market a person and make them competitive in the dating landscape that we're in. So I said, all right, it's going to be everything from personal style to getting your mindset right about dating to how to sell yourself, how to market yourself on Match.com and eHarmony. I write profiles for people. I evaluate their profiles, and I do it from a marketing perspective. So that's where that whole thing started. But as it evolved and as I started to really coach people, it started to branch into this coaching thing more. And then I was going along my own journey. So then I started to say, wait a minute, like this has much more meat to it. And I'm thinking I'm dropping the marketing name. I'm just going to be Lisa Concepcion. So it's Love Quest with Lisa Concepcion. I'm the love coach. I'm going to write books. I'm going to do seminars. I'm going to blow this whole thing up. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in the process now of rebranding that. But getting back to the idea, it's the same thing. It's rebranding it for people.
Let me ask you this question. If I want to package myself better so I can meet a new sweetie and maybe the love of my life, what are the three most important things that I could do to repackage myself? I'm just recently out of a relationship, want to meet a new sweetie. Maybe not so recently. Maybe it was a year or so ago, and now I want to meet somebody new.
All right. Well,
and I don't want to attract the same kind of guy.
Right. No, yeah. On the inside, it's the work of the relationship between you and you. It's being 100% accountable for your own happiness. It is not holding somebody else responsible for your happiness. It is elevating your vibe on a level that you create this wonderful, amazing life for yourself. And that other person, that sweetie that you attract, is just a cherry on the top of your sundae of your fabulous life. It is not the meat of your life. It is, the side, the mashed potatoes, the creamy corn. A lot of people put so much emphasis on the completion that they think they will feel in that other person. It's such a burden. I mean, I'm at a place now where I'm like, listen, I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's happiness. That's a lot to ask of me. And I'm certainly not going to ask that of somebody else. You just vibe happy, and I vibe happy, and when we're both happy, we'll hang out. And when you're not feeling good and I'm feeling great, I don't want you around me. So I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to go hang out on the beach. I'm going to go read. So these are the things that I think with maturity you start to know these things, and with a lot of introspection you start to learn these things too. So the second thing to say about the whole repackaging thing is, on the physical side, take stock of your physicality. How's your health? You just went through a divorce or a major breakup. How are you psychologically? How are you feeling about you? What's your attitude like about love and romance? And get really clear on Are you negative? Are you vibing negative? Because guess what? You're going to attract negative people. If you're positive, like, I have a lot to give, and I'm a great person, and I went through some stuff, and I learned a lot from it, and I'm friends with my ex, and all is well, and the kids are happy, and all is good, you're going to meet somebody good and happy and up. And that's what it's all about. It's doing the self-care for you so you could elevate your vibration. You could go out there in the world in a positive, upbeat place and just have this calm, all is wellness, all is good. Whatever happens to me is of my own creation. So it's here to teach me or here to lead me to something else. And you go with it. It's a journey. It's like whatever good or bad happens, there is no good or bad. There's only your perception of it. So just keep moving forward. Then the other repackaging thing that comes to with the physicality is, a lot of people, they want to really get fit. They want to take up a hobby maybe. They start riding bike. They start doing yoga. Definitely get in tune with your physicality, something that you do every day, even if it's for 20 minutes. This gentleman that I coached, beautiful man, he's 60 years old, bless his heart, close in age to my parents. He divorced and started doing Tai Chi and said it completely changed his life. And I think he's trying to reconcile with they're not really divorced yet. They were getting close to it, and I think they're both getting a little, they're grandparents, like they shouldn't, and it's just sweet. But anyway, he started doing Tai Chi and he started doing breathing work, and I recommended also acupuncture and just other things to really take care of your physical apparatus that also opens you up from a soulful perspective, and you start to have your mind and your body working in harmony. And now it's super cute because he's like, I think all this stuff I did working on me helped me get my sweetie back. Like I'm having dates with my wife, and now I'm not calling her my ex-wife anymore. I'm calling her my wife. So I'm like, listen, if it's in your love quest to reconcile, and I have a hand in that, I love it. However way, you just have to be happy. But the point is, make happiness your number one priority. Find what it is that makes you feel good and do it and be committed to it. And just reinvent from there.
Lisa, thank you so much for coming today. We can find you on Facebook at Lisa Concepcion, and I put your Facebook link on today's radio wrap-up at victoriouswoman.com.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Amazing, amazing.
Have a great weekend, Lisa.
You too. Thanks for the happy hour. Bye.
Thanks. So, Victory Chicks and you guys, are you doing anything good this weekend? It was interesting. Maybe you need to think about repackaging yourself, but I am. My sweetie, who I didn't spend Valentine's Day with, is taking me to dinner and a movie for Valentine's Day. He said he wants to see that movie, Hidden Figures. I don't know anything about it, so he says that's something that I'll probably like, because it's about something about women. So he thinks so I think that'll be nice. And you know what? We've both been so busy that we haven't gotten to talk to each other lately. So, we see each other every day and we talk about daily things, but we haven't actually had a conversation that wasn't about house or work or taxes. So we'll catch up tomorrow night. You know how that is sometimes. You just get too busy with the daily stuff. So I have two quotes for you. I was looking up love quotes, and I found these two, and they're both about kissing. One is from blues singer Billie Holiday, who said, "A kiss that is never tasted is forever and ever wasted." But then actress Joey Adams had this sage advice: "Never let a fool kiss you, or a kiss fool you." Well, I agree with Billy, but I bet we all know what it's like to be kissed by a fool or fooled by a kiss. Listen, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming to Happy Hour today. I love for you to come back next week. Talk to you then. Chins on.
Thanks for listening to this Friday Happy Hour. Make sure you subscribe, rate and review today's show. And join us again next week for the Friday Happy Hour with Annmarie Kelly.